Hello, Michelle.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We were just backstage talking about my mishap. I put a
It's
splint
all
on
about
it today.
you. I needed an update, man.
Oh man, it's terrible, but it's all right. I've just bumped it twice today, so that doesn't help. It's like
Yeah. How did you do with Thanksgiving prep is the question.
we didn't do any.
You did.
I didn't do any. We, for the first time ever, we went out for Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
There was a friend from the bowling alley that was going to be by herself. So we had decided we were going to go meet with her for dinner. While we were there, and I posted this as a post on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel because we're sitting there waiting for our table. We had gone to Bob Evans in Lexington,
Uh-huh.
and there was this elderly woman sitting there. And it turned out she was by herself.
Oh,
So we invited her to join us. And this woman was so appreciative and so nice. But she goes to this Bob Evans every day. She's 88 years old. She goes there every day. They know her by her first name. Everything. She insisted on picking up the check for all of
oh,
us.
stop.
And I'm like, no, 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 no. She said, no, I appreciate you all asking me to join you so much.
You're
It was
such
like,
good
wow.
people.
She was just so nice. And she didn't have to do that. And we talked to afterwards, and I said, and I got her phone number. So I told her the next time we're in Lexington, and I told Brian, we're going to pick up the tab for her because, that's not, that wasn't necessary, but it was appreciated.
But what a
She,
fantastic Thanksgiving for all of you.
right. So it was really nice. She didn't have to be by herself. Our friend wasn't by herself for dinner, and we had a great, great dinner. It was really good.
And you've got a new friend now. Look at you.
Yeah, you know, you do what you got. I hate my sister was by herself down in
Mm.
South Carolina. She lives alone. And I had told her many times, you don't need an invite to come up here. Never. Because, and she knows that. She's got a lot going on and a lot to do. But, so yeah. But all our family is up in New England. Our kids and grandkids and our great grandbaby, they're all up there. So, I did get to FaceTime with all of them when we got back. So that was nice.
That's good.
So, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was very chill. It usually is, which is exactly how I like it. We used to have all of the madness and the chaos and the just a lot of stress, and we don't
Mhm.
have to deal with that anymore, which is a beautiful thing. And so it was me, my husband, our son, and my mom, who she lives about 3 hours from us. She came down with her dog. So the stress I have in my life right now is I have four Rottweilers in my house, which is fantastic. But it's doable. But very, very simple, very chill, just no rushing, no, just it was perfect. It was a perfect day for us. And just to kind of lead into then what's going to be our Christmas, which is going to be on a cruise ship in the Caribbean. So I mean, I can't ask for much more than that.
Wow, that'll be nice. I know when you talked about coming on, you said, "Well, December's out because I'll be gone."
I got something going on every single weekend of December, and then yeah, I'll be gone the week right, the Saturday before Christmas is when we leave, and we get back the Sunday after. So it'll be a
Right.
lot of
Well,
fun. Yeah,
that's nice. And a chill holiday is sometimes the best because you don't have all the drama
exactly,
that can
exactly.
happen. That
Yeah,
usually happens.
a little bit of cooking, and that's about it. And then it's good.
Mhm. Yeah, we didn't even have to do that. It was great.
And that's a beautiful thing. Or do the dishes. So check you out.
Yeah, right. But I'll tell you, I felt bad for the servers and the cooks and everybody at this restaurant. They had announced, now everybody knows that if they know of Bob Evans, they serve breakfast all day long. Typically, they ran out of eggs. They ran, and one lady, I mean, they made an announcement. after this, we cannot serve any more breakfast.
Oh,
Now
no.
it's Thanksgiving Day, for Pete's sakes. There's waiting to be seated. This
Oh,
woman went up to this girl that was trying her darndest to get people seated and explain everything, and got in her face and said, your whole thing says you serve breakfast all day, every day. Why is it you're telling us you can't serve breakfast?" And I'm like, really?
I mean, you gotta have the eggs to have the breakfast. So,
It's crazy. I'm like, dude, I said, it's a flipping holiday. They are busier than they ever are. And hello, they have a special menu for Thanksgiving Day.
yeah.
It
You
was
know,
great.
some people are just always gonna be unhappy and miserable, and you're not gonna please them, and it's okay.
Oh, and to do that to that girl, she was trying so hard to keep everybody happy, and this for what this woman, I felt like, what? Who do you think you are anyway? It was crazy, but yeah, it
Definitely
was.
makes you appreciate those in the service industry for sure.
Oh, I used to be that
Yeah,
right out of high school. I used to be a server. It's not an easy job.
you
You
get
deal
it.
with all kinds of personalities.
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to address the chat real quick,
Okay.
and I'm
I
going to
know
see what
they're all just having their own
you.
conversation while we have our own conversation.
I, I know, right?
Hi, everybody.
Sherry's here. Happy Friday, Hellraisers. Oh my goodness. I say Sherry and my Siri on my phone acts up. This is Lynn saying hi, Cindy, Michelle, and Sherry. Brian is here. Good evening, everyone. Happy to see you survived Thanksgiving, Cindy, and all Hellraisers. I survived.
She's a
And
survivor.
then saying hi. This is my sister. Hello, fellow Hellraisers.
Hi, Deb.
She usually has Tai Chi on Wednesdays and Fridays, but there was no class tonight, so she's on time.
There we go.
Sherry is early. Deb is early now. If Ricky can just make it on time, if he makes it at all, what are you talking about? Josephine is here. She is from Australia.
I love it.
Yes, I do too. I got to show you. I got to pull it up on my phone. She draws pictures and she is a hoot. But I'm going to pull it up so you can see it, Michelle, because it's really cool. One day
Absolutely.
on our Wednesday night live stream that I do with my husband, she said, sit together with Max, our dog, put your arm around him. And then she got a picture. And then she drew a picture with that. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. Now, Brian has gone, we're talking about Brian's Diner. When I'm out of town and he's got to fend for himself, he opens up Brian's Diner at the house.
Yep.
She knows we bowl. Brian goes by the guinea pig. And our group, What the Hell? And she put this all in a picture. Oh my goodness, the light is terrible.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
I don't know where's the best right
No, that's
there.
perfect right there.
Isn't that cool?
I love it.
She drew that from a picture with all our interests
She
and
covered all
everything.
bases. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I like it. She's
Hi,
really cool.
Evelyn. I
Yes,
met
Evelyn
Evelyn
is
on a
here.
cruise this past year.
Yes. Lynn was by herself too, no family near for the holidays, but I've gotten used to it, I guess. Well, you know, we got to do something about that too. Good evening, Jeff. Saying hello. I am never by myself. 3 cats, 2 dogs. Never pee, eat, sleep, or even go outside alone. That's funny.
I
Brenda
know.
Jones is here. Hello, Brenda. Oh my God, not good, poor girl. Yep. Sherry, never alone with pets. That's a bit when you can't even go to the bathroom alone.
That's
And then you get my email to send me those recipes. Brian, we already talked about this, dude. She's gonna come up with something and send it to you. Only 5 likes. What's up with that, Hellraisers? That's great. Email. Nancy Tanner is here. Hello, Cindy and Michelle, and all the Hellraisers. And Nancy, if I don't talk to you, which I probably will, have a great time on the cruises. They leave next Wednesday
Nice. We're all just cruising.
on the 2K. I believe it's the 2KK cruise. They're doing back-to-back cruises,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't go on a cruise, but
I know
anyway,
you don't do big boats.
I don't do any boats. I don't. No. So I know from being on your Mondays what you've been up to, what's going on. But if you want to talk about it, and then I have questions, and if anybody in the chat does, there's the banner.
Absolutely. Well, I for the first year and a half of my coaching career, I followed the status quo, and I was very much, this is the way that everything needs to be done. There's only one way to do it right. You can't stray, or it's not going to help you. If it's not working for you, you're not doing it right. I had that coaching mindset. And the past year has shown me how very, very wrong I was in that aspect of how I thought I was to guide people in their journeys. And so I have just kind of become a little debatable, I guess you can say, within the low carb space recently. I have actually started speaking my mind more. I am sharing my own experience more, because not only did this affect my clients, it also impacted myself. Like my own personal journey, it was one of those things where it was working, and then it wasn't, and it wasn't, and it wasn't, and it wasn't, and it wasn't. And 22 months, it wasn't. And I know how frustrated I got. So I can only imagine how frustrated clients would get after an extended period of time doing all of the right things and not seeing results. It's
Now,
extremely frustrating.
when you talk about the right things, what kind of things were you doing prior to during those 22 months?
So I was eating a strict ketogenic diet. I went carnivore for probably about 6 months. I'm not going to lie, I kind of hated my life when I was on it, because I felt restricted. It felt like a diet to me, but I still did it because that's what I was supposed to do. I did PSMF for about 3 weeks and literally wanted to jump off of my roof, because I viewed chicken breast as a punishment for all the years that's all I ever ate. And then going keto and being allowed to have fat and all these other things, going back to that very low fat, very just diet, and it was a diet. It made me miserable. And it wasn't the fact that food had to bring me my happiness and food had to, do, because I had gone beyond that. But it was, I should not be, eating shouldn't have been a chore. And that's what it had become. And so I tried again for extended periods of times to do these things to get things moving again. And the scale would move a couple of pounds, but then I would go back to, again, eating keto or eating how I normally do. Ignore Creed if you can hear him. And the weight would come right back on. So started getting frustrated myself for my own journey and just kind of looking into, all right, what other things can I potentially do? Never once did what the first thing I did come to my mind. When you and I had our very first meeting, we talked a lot about my history with weight loss surgery and how, in my opinion, weight loss surgery for me personally was 100% a cheat. in my opinion, because I didn't do the other work I needed to do. I just physically could not eat. I altered my physiology, and that was how I was going to get skinny, right? And so I had the same feeling and belief about GLP-1s. And I was extremely defensive about GLP-1s. I had such a strong hatred for them because you hear it all over the place. It's a cheat. It's a cheat. It's if you're doing this, you're not doing the hard work. You're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. If you're doing these things, you're going to succeed. I was doing all of the things and I was not succeeding any longer.
Mhm.
Now, keep in mind, when I started my journey, I was 44 years old. And then I hit 47. And it was like my body just kind of put on the brakes. And so I did a lot of research when I started doing my menopause specialist certification that started the end of last year. That really opened my eyes to a lot of things because it made me see how midlife women are so very different from anybody else. And we have all of our own struggles that are compounded on top of other things that may potentially be happening.
Right.
So, in October of last year, I I don't even remember where it came from, but I got an email that had a link to a study that was ongoing regarding GLP-1s. And I honestly almost just clicked delete because I'm like, if I don't want to know about these things until I saw the words brain health. And I'm like, what do these weight loss drugs have to do with our brains? The timing of this email coming through, the irony does not go beyond me because I was actually at my parents' house in Iowa. My dad had passed away in 2019 from Lewy body dementia at the age of 67. I had gone back home for an early Thanksgiving and had gone to visit his grave and, do some decorating for the holidays. That night is when the email came across my phone. So I
Wow.
opened it and I read it. And to say my mind was blown by the things that were in this article about this particular study completely changed everything that I thought GLP-1s were. And when I'm talking GLP-1s, I'm saying semaglutide and tirzepatide. I'm not talking retatrutide or anything like that that hasn't been approved yet. So I started to basically dive even deeper and I went down a rabbit hole and I still haven't climbed my way out of it because there is so much to learn about GLP-1s and other peptides. So I had a conversation with my doctor in January, said, "Hey, Dr. Nally, I've been reading about this stuff and I'm thinking I want to do an experiment on myself. I want to start microdosing a GLP-1." And he said, "All right, let's go ahead and do it." So I had my doctor monitoring me. I had my own knowledge as a coach, and I went forward with microdosing a GLP-1. And when I say microdosing, I am talking, I did a fraction of the recommended starting dose that pharmaceutical companies have in their protocols. Most people who do semaglutide, which is, Ozempic, Wegovy, it's a 0.25 milligrams starting dose. I started at 0.06, very, very tiny, because I just wanted to see, is this going to do anything for me? Well, let's have some fun and experiment.
Right.
And at first, I didn't notice a whole lot. But about 6 to 7 weeks in, I was actually sitting in this chair working, and I shifted in a way that when I would normally shift, my right hip would start to hurt. And I shifted, and I'm like, and I did this little shimmy in my chair because my hip didn't hurt.
Wow.
It is the first time since 2021, my right hip has not hurt. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So then I have a conversation with my doctor at our next appointment, and he goes, okay, the inflammation is coming down in your body. And I said, wait, it does that? What do you mean? The way that I've been eating was supposed to keep me from being inflamed. And so again, I was down that rabbit hole studying and researching. And I went to the point where I actually went to Orlando in April of this year to do a very intensive weekend certification all about GLP-1s. And my mind was just blown by the things I learned from these three physicians who specialize in not only, weight management, but also longevity. We had an orthopedic surgeon, like these people who kind of knew their stuff. And so, okay, I guess I keep going on this experiment. Well, I was keeping it on the down low because, again, it's one of those things, it's a controversial type of a subject. And I'm not going to lie, I was scared to death for anybody to find out that I had changed my mind and started doing this myself.
Right.
And so I was just like, you know what? You need to grow up and put on your big girl panties and make an announcement. The shock that came when I made that reel, and I came out and I said, look, guys, I was going to wait until I was 6 months in to make this announcement, but I need to share what I've been experiencing and what I've been doing. And I said, I've been microdosing since the beginning of this year. These are my experiences with it so far. This is what it means that I am doing. I think I lost 8 followers. That's it.
Wow.
8. The number of people who reached out to me in DMs telling me, oh my gosh, I can't believe you actually said that you're doing it. I'm so glad you told me that you're doing this because I feel like I can't tell anybody. The number of people on the low carb cruise who, because I made it known, hey guys, I'm a certified GLP-1 coach. And if you have questions, you need to talk to somebody, I'm here. The number of people who approached me in person, usually when nobody was around, to tell me, thank you so much for admitting what you're doing. Thank you so much for being upfront and honest and educating us a little bit more about this, blew my mind. And it honestly broke my heart at the same time. Yeah. Because there is so much vitriol and shame about these medications and horrific misinformation about them. And the same talking points repeated. Nobody wants to actually kind of jump in and do their own research about it, which in my opinion is, number one, it's unethical. And then you're leading people to do very stupid and unsafe things, like going to the gray market to buy peptides and not know what the heck they're doing and not knowing what they're getting. And that's then how bad things can happen to people.
Right.
So I had a very candid conversation with Dr. Tro on the ship. He and I kind of got into it a little bit when he made a comment about GLP-1s during a Q&A. And he and I kind of butted heads, but we had a live that we were on last weekend. And he was just like, I love that you're doing this. I love that you're having these conversations. I love that you're letting people basically come out and have a safe source to be able to confide in somebody and get help that they need along the process.
Right.
Because the GLP-1s are not going to do all of the work. I know a lot of people do. And I know a lot of coaches and other professionals who are quite threatened by them because of this. I'm not going to lie. I was one of them. I figured if people are using these meds, they don't need me. They're not going to hire me to be their coach, until I realized how much help they actually needed. And I want to be that safe space for them, to be able to have someone to ask questions to be able to bounce ideas off of, to be able to help them along their journey when they realize that the shot alone is not doing everything they thought it was going to do. It's not fixing them. So I created a program specifically for people doing GLP-1, and it blew up because the people realized they need the help, and the people who are in this program are thriving because they're not just depending on the drugs. Most of them are still at their starting dose. They have not gone up because they're doing everything else along the lines that they're supposed to do. It's just easier because they are not consistently thinking about food. It is not completely overtaking every bit of their lives.
Right.
And that right there is huge for anybody who has ever had an emotional eating disorder, a binge eating disorder, or did constant yo-yo diets through decades.
Mhm.
All three right here, baby. And it's worked wonders for me. And I'm a coach. I couldn't get certain things to stop. I couldn't get the thoughts, the constant thoughts of food. And I've posted in my groups before. I was obsessing over fish one day. Fish. Not cake. Fish. Because I had fresh fish that I had bought in Seattle and was shipped to my house. And I was so hyper focused on lunch that day because of this fish that literally took like every thought that morning. And I was like, ooh, this isn't good. Okay. I caught myself doing that. And that's what a lot of these people who are using these meds are able to do, is catch those thoughts and realize, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't normal behavior. So what can I do? And we have conversations about other things that they can do to help them along that. So it's not just about the appetite suppression, and that's what everybody thinks it's about. It's about the calming of our system, basically. You know, I didn't do this for weight loss. I did it for the, reducing inflammation in my body, the neuroinflammation specifically, supporting blood sugar regulation, which some people think that, oh, well, it causes your body to release insulin all day long. And that, is kind of counterproductive to fixing insulin resistance. It's not the case. It's actually making it specific to when the insulin needs to be released in our bodies, as opposed to it being released all day long because we're eating or drinking or whatever it is that we're doing all day long to constantly have that flow of insulin going. So it's actually helping improve people's insulin resistance. It helped with mine. My A1C was very steady through the years of doing keto. It's down to 5.1 for the first time. I was always steady right at 5.3. It never fluctuated. I went from 5.9 when we started to 5.7 down to 5.3, and I stayed there for years. And now I'm down to a 5.1. It shockingly has improved my lipid panel, specifically triglycerides. My triglycerides were under 100 for the first time in my adult life when I had my labs done 3 months ago.
Wow, that's great.
I've been doing keto. I've been doing carnivore. I was not eating carbohydrates. I was keeping my carbs under 20 a day. Why wouldn't my triglycerides go down? Well, I have a familial history of hypercholesterolemia. And guess what? Everything stays elevated, which that's why I'm not one of those people that freaks out about high cholesterol, because I've always had high cholesterol.
Right.
But then the other aspects of brain fog, which again, perimenopause hit, and holy crap, like I would be doing something and I would literally like lose my track of thought. And being a health coach and also being a paralegal, that's not a good thing for that to happen. So I noticed the brain fog kind of lifted. I experienced better sleep. I eliminated inflammation that was still in my body that my diet had not gotten rid of. Again, joint pain, random joint pain. My perimenopause hip is what I called it. And those are things that weren't improving or really budging with just the nutrition and exercise alone. So obviously this little teeny tiny dose of something that I'm doing was helping doing something. And that's, again, after 11 months, those are the main things that have changed with my body. But I'm still strength training. I've been strength training this entire time. I've dropped another 12 pounds since January. My weight started going down again. I know a lot of that was probably still that lingering inflammation, but as you've, watched, you're on my page, you see my posts, you see my videos, the fat that seems to be melting off of my body now is unlike it was before, which is a good thing. And it's also a bad thing because now I've got really bad hanging skin and I don't have money to get a freaking tummy tuck.
Oh,
But
that's your battle wounds. That's all.
yeah, right.
It-
That honey love, man. I live in honey love. I freaking love it. But one thing that absolutely blew my mind with working with two specific clients of mine. One of them, she had been with me since the day I became a coach. So she had been with me for almost 2 years. And it was always up and down, the same 5 to 7 pounds, always up and down. It did not matter what we did. It didn't matter what macros we changed. It didn't matter what movement we changed. It did not matter at all. She never dropped a significant amount of weight for what effort she was putting in. And I like to think that my clients are, for the most part, honest with me. I can kind of tell when they're not. She was doing everything she was supposed to do. And another client that I actually met on the low carb cruise, he came up to me after the panel I did with Joe and Rachel about which diet is best. It was the best freaking panel we've ever done. Not just because I was on it, but because it was really just so good. People loved it. Anyway, let the ADHD come back in, right? He came up to me and he said, again, he's another one of those, I don't feel like I could tell anybody I'm on this. My doctor put me on it. He had gone on it the month before I met him. And he said, my doctor thinks this might help me with my lymphedema. And I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. So what do I do in my freaking cabin that night? I am researching GLP-1 and lymphedema. Well, this other client of mine, right before the cruise, had been diagnosed as suffering from lipedema. And I'm like, So as I'm doing this research for this gentleman about the lymphedema, I started wondering, okay, would it have an impact with lipedema? And let me tell you, she has been on a GLP-1 for 6 months. She is down 18 pounds since May. And fat is literally melting off of her.
Wow.
She doesn't remember the last time she was the size that she is right now. When I get my check-ins from her and we do our calls, and she tells me how she had to put more clothing in the donation pile, and she pulled out shirts that she's had for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they fit. Not just this part, her arms, her legs, because that's where the fat was primarily staying. She is having unbelievable success. And what is the only thing we changed? We added a GLP-1. Wow. So these meds are not the devil. They are not going to poison all of us. They're not going to give all of us cancer. Am I saying that it's never going to happen with somebody? There's a good possibility because the popularity has grown so much. But to constantly tell people the same negative things about them to scare them away, when again, they have been trying so hard to do the work and doing it the right way. You have to give them that chance. And it's not fair to say that, no, you can't do this, or no, you shouldn't do this, because that's cheating. Sometimes we need those wins mentally to remind us there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if this is something that is working in a positive manner for another person, don't you dare shame them for that.
That's like anything else,
apologized in my reel, and I said to anybody I have ever spoken down to or just been nasty to about GLP-1s and your support of them, I am so sorry, because I was wrong. And that's not easy for a lot of people to do.
Right. I mean, I don't talk about them because I don't know a lot about them. And I know I don't think I would ever do them,
Mhm.
you
And they're
know,
not for everybody.
and it's right. But we have heard, like you said, in the beginning, once you're on it for life. Or this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And so many, it's just like, well, hello.
Yeah.
Is it really a smart thing to do? Because that's where everybody's mindset was.
Mhm. And here's
And
the
the
thing,
more that
like,
it comes out, go ahead.
yeah, there's a place for both things. Both things can be true. We need proper nutrition. We need healthy lifestyles. We need better habits. We need good sleep. We need to reduce the stress in our lives. We need to move. We need to lift the heavy things. But sometimes we need another little tool in our arsenal to help us along this path. Both things can be true. There are no absolutes. And that's another reason why I have ruffled so many feathers within the space, is I'm so tired of it's this way or no way. But then you're telling people, well, get rid of the all or nothing thinking. But then you're making people do all or nothing thinking, because if they're not doing this or they're not doing it this way, then it's wrong. There are no absolutes in health and fitness and wellness. There aren't, because we are all different. We are all going to respond differently. Bio individuality is a very real thing, and people need to embrace that instead of saying that it's just the wrong way.
Absolutely. I mean, aside from the GLP-1s, even within the keto community,
It's gotten bad.
there's if you're carnivore, that's it. That nobody else is doing it right. There's some really dogmatic people out there that really cap down on somebody that is keto, or and it's like that has gone just crazy.
Insane. We've gotten worse than
That alone, it's just nuts. So, since you've been on the GLP-1s, have you changed how you eat?
I have. Oh, the controversy. So I actually, being so strict keto for so many years and being taught that that was the only way for it to be, I actually I started to fear certain foods. And so when I realized that I was having that, again, that disordered eating thinking creeping back into my brain. Okay, wait, hold on. Vegetables are not scary. Like, they're not scary. I went to Primal Health Coaching Institute. We are taught how to live primally. And guess what? That included vegetables, that included fruits, that included meats, and it included some grains that were, again, ancestral before everything got taken over by GMOs. So I said, okay, I think I might need to make some changes within my life because again, the menopause certification that I did, it was very much women need different types of foods during certain times of their life.
Mhm.
So part of my evolution this past year is that I have reintroduced certain specific whole food carbs, um, certain fruits in season only. And I get them from farmers markets. Normally, I try to stay away from the grocery stores. Squash, sweet potatoes, and different root vegetables. And I still am considered low carb. I am by no means, going to, 2, 3, 400 carbs a day. I still stay under 100 every single day. I'm actually probably more average about 60, but again, that's higher than the 20 that I was doing.
Right.
And I actually found a gal who lives 5 minutes away from me who makes sourdough using elk elkhorn flour, which she gets from England. So she uses a special type of a flour to make her sourdough, and it doesn't raise my blood sugar. It doesn't
Oh,
cause me issues with anything in my body. It doesn't cause me to ache. None of these things do.
it's
It actually
awesome.
made me feel better. I started falling asleep faster. I started staying asleep a little bit better, a little bit longer. Okay, this is different. I guess this experiment, guys, experiment on yourselves is the most fun thing you can ever do. It helped my energy. It has helped my hormones. Like I'll be 40. Oh my God, my birthday is in 5 days. I'll be 49 years old on Wednesday. And my hormones, my reproductive hormones and my thyroid are optimal. Like my doctor loves going over labs with me because he knows what I've been doing. He has been supportive of what I'm doing, even though he's the keto doc. And he's really excited to see the success that I'm having within myself. And that in turn, I'm kind of sharing with my clients. Now, do I tell everybody to eat fruits? Do I tell everybody to eat vegetables? Do I tell them to eat sourdough? Nope, because that's not my job. It's not my job to tell you what to eat. It's to help you to figure out what is working best for you.
Right. And
Sometimes in a
that's
business
what we all need to
accountability.
do.
Yeah. So I just don't want, nobody should ever fear real food, like whole foods.
Mhm.
That is not normal. It's, we shouldn't be preaching fear, especially from foods that are grown, and these small farmers or local farmers who are doing it the right way. We're not
Right.
buying from food chains that are shipping them in from God knows where. But not all carbohydrates are the villain. I learned that personally for myself. Sugar addiction and our dysregulated metabolisms, those are the real villains. But we shouldn't fear real food. And I'm sorry, sugar is not included in real food. So, in my opinion, demonizing entire food groups has led to harming more people, and why people fall off of the low carb lifestyle, because they just think it's so extreme, but then they get all these little voices behind them, or they start feeling like garbage. I thrived on keto for 3 years. I thrived on keto, and then my body changed, and I had to change along with it. So,
Yep.
you know, and
And nobody
then
can do nobody can do the same thing day after day after day. I mean, I've been on this way of eating for 5 years
mhm.
with keto, and it gets old. I keep challenging myself this way, do this, try
Yeah.
this, see if it affects you. Try this, see how you feel. Because,
Mhm.
you know, you just
Yeah,
have to.
you
There
do.
there are times where, Yeah, the scale's gone up, but my blood work is still great. I
Yes.
feel good, with the exception of that. But
With the
but
exception of bowling
you
balls in a
know,
walkway.
it's like you have to, and I'm like, as long as everything is good and I feel good, I'm 67. Way past all that female crap stuff. I'm sorry for y'all that are going through it.
So much fun.
But yeah, I went through that in my 30s because I had to have a complete hysterectomy
Oh, so
in my
you got
late
thrown into it.
30s. Big time, big time. And it, it wasn't hard. It was like quick. I very rarely had any issues, if at
That's
all.
fantastic. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
but I feel for all of you that have these issues. It's like,
but
I,
I mean, we don't have to be completely miserable all the time. There are things we can do to
right.
make the transition a little bit easier. But it's again, I mean, there are things that will help us along the path. Them removing that black box warning from freaking HRT was one of the most amazing things that could have happened. Most amazing things that could have happened because now women are not going to be told by their doctors, well, you can take this, but if you do, you're going to get cancer. I
That's,
mean, come on. Not
you
everything
breathe
is
the
going to cause
air.
cancer.
You breathe the polluted air, you can get cancer. What the heck
Yeah.
are you going to do?
Yeah.
Stay inside with a gas mask on the rest of your life
And
to
then not
avoid
and then you
anything.
won't have any sun exposure. So then your mitochondria will be all, messed up and everything. So yeah, it's just, we're in a no-win situation in this environment, unfortunately. So
Mhm.
why don't we do the things that are going to help us counteract the environment that we unfortunately are forced to live in because not any of us can live in the biodome. It's just not a reality.
You
So
gotta, you gotta live the best life you can live and make the
100%.
best of it because life is too short to do anything else.
Absolutely.
It's
And it's
like,
all about living life, not just existing.
right.
And that kind of segues into my next venture, which you are very well aware of. Once I saw what microdosing GLP-1s did, I wanted to kind of explore the broader world of peptides in general. And I actually started a 12-week certification back in August that I just finished up with. I learned so much about peptides. And they're starting to get a lot more popularity and more people are starting to use them. And there are actually people in this space who are very positive when it comes to certain peptides, but not others. I know personally people who are doing BPC 157 to help them with their gut health. It helps other things too. I know people NAD plus, it's everywhere, right? Like NAD plus is everywhere right now, but nobody knows what the heck it is and what it does. Well, this guy told me that I should buy his supplements that have it, so I'm going to buy them because he's got 500,000 followers on Instagram and YouTube. Why not? That's a perfect reason to do it, right? So the thing about peptides is they're not magic. I said this in a reel. They're not snake oil. They're also not shortcuts. They're cellular signaling tools, essentially, because that's what's wrong with a lot of our bodies is our signals aren't signaling like they should be. That's where GLP-1s come into play. Our bodies naturally produce GLP-1. Most of us just aren't, the things just aren't communicating with each other. So with the GLP-1s, that's one thing, but you've got other peptides that do, gut repair, additional inflammation reduction, mitochondrial function improvements, energy, focus, sleep, circadian rhythm support. That's a big thing, right? We need that. Muscle retention, especially as we age and we're still doing all the things. Sometimes you can use a little support with that. Recovery and tissue repair. When you fell down and you had all that happen, I was like, oh, Cindy, let's talk. And then other metabolic improvements. My mom is about to start her own little experiment, which I will be reporting back to you guys about, with 2 specific peptides. I'm not disclosing any information about it. She's just wanting to see if it's going to help her with some things that she has been dealing with. And one of them is COVID lung, that she was finally diagnosed with after having been sick 4.5 years ago. So we're going to have some fun with her. But with my own personal peptide experiment, I initially started using peptides because I had a biopsy spot on my leg that was big and ugly and like left a cavern in there. And I heard about these healing peptides that could potentially help with the tissue and the skin and this and that. And I'm like, okay, let's try this. And, I went all in. And the improvements that I had with other aspects of my body from this particular peptide stack that I was using, it blew my mind, because I was using it for my leg, but the bloating in my gut went away. And again, I started burning more fat. Okay, this is weird, but this is what these peptides do. It's all about the signals that are not signaling. They're not firing properly within our bodies. It says, hey, wake up, do your job. And that's what they've been doing. So I am very excited about my peptide therapy certification, because I think it's going to help so many people. They automatically go to, when you think of peptides, you think of GLP-1s. That's the first thing people go to. And that should actually be like the second or third thing that they should go to if they're going to implement peptide therapy, because we want to heal first. Because if we don't have a healthy body, if we don't have a healed metabolism, if our mitochondria are just completely out of whack, then taking something to help us lose fat isn't really going to be that beneficial to us. We need to heal underlying issues, and then let's get the ball rolling and have even greater success with all of these other amazing tools.
It's a lot. It's a lot of. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I listen to it, I'm like, it's like all Greek. It's like, I'm like,
Trust me, all the letters and numbers in my head, I'm just like, wait, what? Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me write these things down, because I'm gonna mess them up.
I'm gonna hit up the chat and see if there's any questions, but I'm gonna say hi to people that have popped in since then. Karen from Low Carb Spin. John is here. Hello, John. Hello. Aaron is here from Booby Goats.
Best name ever.
Yeah. If you've never watched her, she's a hoot. Sherry says, I feel that way if I eat a piece of bread. I'm not telling a soul.
No more shame.
And
Yes,
everyone said,
Evelyn,
yeah,
yes.
crazy the shame we throw on people, but then we say n equals 1. Yep.
100%.
Sherry said, I don't know about the GLP-1. What does it supposed to do for you? What is it supposed to do for you?
Oh, Sherry, that's a whole masterclass right there. So I kind of went over a little bit, as far as the things that GLP-1s did for me with the microdosing. Most people do get onto them for appetite suppression and, a slower, the slower gastric motility is what a lot of times causes the appetite suppression, which then causes people to eat less, which then causes them to lose weight. That doesn't happen with me with the microdosing. I have zero gastric motility slowing. Trust me, I am still regular as the day, I started it. I don't have any issues with feeling like any acid reflux or, being gassy as far as burping and things like that. The biggest thing with me as far as my weight loss was it really calmed things down up here. And again, I wasn't thinking about food all day long, all day, every day. and even doing keto and doing carnivore and doing all the super low carb things, I would be eating breakfast and thinking about what I was going to make for lunch. And that was eating high fat, high protein, low carb. It was supposed to fix all those issues, right? It was supposed to help with the satiety. My brain didn't know the difference between satiety and actually being full. That was the problem. So I would eat because we've been told eat until you're comfortably stuffed, right? Well, when you've got an eating disordered brain, you don't know what that is. You don't know what that means until you are so completely freaking miserable that you can't function and you got to unbutton your pants.
Well,
Even
the other thing that I learned when I went through the gastric bypass too, when you talk about when you're stuffed, it takes your stomach 20 minutes to tell you, they give you those signals that you're full.
Yep.
If you're a fast eater, you're going to surpass that and not even know it
yes,
until you're miserable,
you're miserable.
like you were saying.
Yeah.
I really tend to eat slow, because slower than
I had
usual.
no choice. Yeah.
Because if I want to get in enough protein, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will eat so fast and then I will be so stinking miserable. And it's like,
So Sherry,
it's
if you've
crazy.
got additional questions, you can always join my group. And I did a masterclass on GLP-1s months ago that I can tag you in so you can watch it and get a better overall understanding of what they do.
Your Facebook group?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll link that in the description of
Thanks,
this when we're
Evelyn.
all done. Yeah, Evelyn says, I clothes like that. I bet once I get to wear, they fall apart. She said, my Dan was on it, lost and stopped, 2 times bigger now. See,
What other
that's
changes did he make within his life? That's the real question.
right. That's the fear that it put into everybody, is like,
Mhm.
if you start this and then you stop it, just like any other diet we have ever been on our lives, you lose weight and then you're going to gain that plus
Yep.
some back. That was that constant roller coaster everybody's been on, that's dieting most of their
And the way
life.
that so many of these, it's not just doctors, it's, these med spas that are prescribing. I mean, I have a friend who reached out to me who was put on a GLP-1. It was recommended by his cardiologist to help with his cardiac health. And he's on week 7 and on the maximum dose of semaglutide. He told me that, and I said, "You're kidding me, right?" He's like, "No." They started me at 0.25 and I'm on 1. And I'm like, you shouldn't have been that high for at least 16 weeks. And they put him there in 7. So you've got people that are misusing these meds and they don't even realize it, because the people that are providing it to him, all they care about is the money. They're not doing all the follow-up. They're not understanding why do you feel like this isn't working? Why do you think that your hunger signals are supposed to go away? They're not. It's to get you to understand the difference between head hunger and physical hunger.
Mm-hmm.
But people freak out when they get hungry and they say, "Oh God, I got to go up. I have to go up in dose. I'm hungry." Please eat. That's not the point of these meds. They're being so misused. And it's this, again, this is why I am so very passionate about it, and why I came out when I did and said, "Look, I am doing this. If you need help, please let me know. Please let me help you. I want you to succeed."
It's wild. Sherry wants the name of the lady. Does she ship? Miss
It might be a little
Sourdough.
moldy by the time it got to you, Sherry. I'm sorry.
Yes, and happy early birthday. I didn't want to
Thank
interrupt you. It does. That's almost big one. You're almost a half a century.
I know, right? I can't wait to be 50. I can't freaking wait to be 50.
It's just a number. It's like
Exactly.
Oh, Linda said, hello, Linda, by the way. My son took it, had to get off it. He couldn't eat hardly anything.
Yeah,
Could that have been taking too much of it?
100%.
That's what it sounds like. Michelle sounds like she eat very much like me with probably more meat.
I eat a lot of meat, but I honestly, I eat more eggs, I think, than anything else because I have chickens. So I have to eat them. I'm forced to.
Nothing wrong with eggs either.
Superfood.
I can't eat very many carbs at all. See?
And
That's,
that's
but you
whatever
know
works
that about
for you.
yourself. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Been low carb for 9 years. I guess I'm carnivore now. Well, you know, it's you know, I think the biggest thing is don't label yourself,
Yes.
because when you do and you go and say that, then you've got all these people coming at you from all different directions, like, well, maybe you're not doing this right, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. When in reality, we just need to find what works for us and run with it,
Yep.
because
It's not
that's
an
it.
identity. It's not a religion. It's just the way that we eat that makes us feel best.
Sherry said, I've been low carb for 20 years. Can January, come January, it will be 21.
That's amazing.
Yes. And I love Sherry. She eats very little meat. And she says she only started eating because she started following us. She said, but she'll never, ever eat a steak.
She'll never ever eat a steak.
No. So Karen has a question. So what
Okay.
can we do for the gluteal tendinopathy?
So that that's outside hip area, right? Is that what's the name? I'm sorry.
Karen,
Karen. Yeah, is it the like the outside area of your hip that's bothering you? And what have you done for it to date, if anything?
I have to wait for that. All
Oh,
Greek.
thanks,
And there's
Evelyn.
her Facebook group. Thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn is the best.
She is super helpful.
There's many live coaching sessions. I've joined in a few. She's running a Black Friday coaching special. I did see that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And people who understand the value at the expense of these peptides will get how incredible of a value that Black Friday deal is, because not only are you getting the coaching, the one-on-one coaching, you're getting access to 2 peptides for you and the provider to determine which would be, best for you for whatever health or other lifestyle matters that you're wanting to address. And you're also getting your baseline labs run, because that is a non-negotiable for me, that all of my clients know before you start on any peptide, we're running labs, because we need to see where you are at, so then we can make an educated decision with your provider of what you should actually be addressing first. Because like I said, everybody wants to jump into weight loss. They want to jump into fat loss, and there's other issues. If you heal your gut, do you realize how much faster you're going to burn fat? If you are keeping your muscle strong and helping it recover, do you realize how much more fat you're going to burn because you're lifting heavy things and you're eating better? Do you realize if you actually get a full 8 hours of sleep uninterrupted, what a huge difference that makes, not only in how your day is, but everything metabolically. It's so multifaceted, our health and everything that falls into health management. It's almost overwhelming. So that's why I started doing all these certifications. And I'm just like, okay, I need to stop. And I just need to focus on a couple of things that I feel would be the most beneficial to people. And that's where I've landed here. So
Great. So Karen said, yes, it's that area of her hip. She's done red light therapy.
So that's what the area that I referred to as my perimenopause hip. It was this area right on the outside. It would always feel inflamed. It actually started up after I tore my left calf muscle and I ended up altering my gait, and that just kind of impacted everything else. And that's when the hip pain started. When I started, like I said, microdosing the GLP-1, it really helped with the inflammation. But BPC 157, TB 500, that's a stack that you can do of certain peptides. Those are shown to help with tissue repair, injury recovery, and again, additional inflammation reduction within your body. And it's helped many people with other issues like that. I used it for my leg to fill in the hole that was the biopsy spot. I know people who have had shoulder injuries. I know a coach who had a torn labrum, and he experimented on himself with those particular peptides and with physical therapy, and using that, it actually helped to, he ended up not needing the surgery that he thought he was going to end up having to get. So those are two that are worth looking into. But if you want to have a conversation with me, just reach out and we can have a conversation.
Okay. Sherry says, no steak be yucky. You're lucky I eat hamburger, but I have learned I like it best only if I make it. Love eggs and always have. Love chicken in any manner. It's just that cow.
But do you make hamburger steaks? Because those are just as good.
Yes. There's that all labs done, high cortisol, high cholesterol, lean mass hyperresponder, working with functional doctor.
Girl, you sound just like me.
And John has a question. Do you think that relying on endogenous GLP-1 will eventually make a person GLP-1 resistant on their natural production of GLP-1?
So that's another thing that's been circulating around, especially with people who are pushing a certain drink that has been touted as, naturally increasing our GLP-1s. There are ways that you can naturally try to increase your GLP-1. If you've ever used berberine, sometimes that helps people to naturally increase their GLP-1. If you have used or drank apple cider vinegar with the mother, some people have been, shown to have naturally increased their GLP-1s. I am not a fan of certain herbal drinks because I even plugging my nose and trying to chug them down, it's not happening, because when I let go of my nose, I get it and ick, no. But with regards to our becoming dependent or our inability to create GLP-1s on our own, we're still creating GLP-1s in our guts. So again, gut healing is very, very important, because that could help you boost your natural GLP-1 production and you don't realize it. But the way that I coach and I kind of direct my clients to do their protocol is to microdose, and then we do it basically in a cycling. So we're trying to wake up those signals, get them firing again like they're supposed to be, without becoming dependent upon the medication to keep things going. And that's why we work on all of the other things as well while we are healing our bodies, to help with any cravings, any massive return of appetite, any return of the food noise, so on and so forth. So even Ben Bikman has said that microdosing GLP-1s, for upwards of 6 to 12 months, and or cycling them, is going to be beneficial. And when Ben Bikman actually came out in support of GLP-1s in the way that the protocol that I utilize with my clients, it blew my mind. I was thrilled.
Interesting.
It's not about being consistently on them, but we want cycling. Cycling is definitely a good thing to do. And that's with every single peptide.
Lynn says, I am a lean mass hyper responder too, Karen. I haven't found a decent doctor who understands it yet. They freak out about my labs. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sherry said, yes, I do make hamburger steaks, but I don't like the frozen ones. I bought the one Nisha suggested. Yucky.
Making your own's always better anyway.
I will eat them till they're gone because I won't waste the money, but I will never buy them again. Wow. I agree with you, Sherry. I can't stand the pre-made hamburger patties. They have a funny taste. Nope.
I'm with you, ladies.
It's better you know what's in them if you make them
Yeah.
yourself. Good evening, Dustin. Mr. Keto Simple.
Hi, Dustin.
So I am seriously caught up on the chat. So you're still microdosing the GLP-1 and doing the peptides, right?
Right. Yeah. And I will be going off of my GLP-1 in January. So I wanted to do a full 12 months. I did 6 months of semaglutide. I did 6 months of tirzepatide. And when they switched me from the one medication to the other, I started way down low again. I wasn't, it wasn't a lateral switching over. It was, okay, this is a whole new one. So let's start you at the very bottom and work our way up. I'm still not at the recommended starting dose. I never hit the recommended starting dose of either of them in these 6-month periods. That wasn't my goal. Again, I wasn't doing this to lose weight. I was doing this to see what other health aspects could have impacted my body. And my mind was, my eyes were opened to so many things, which is then again what led me down this path of the peptide therapy and just learning all of the things. And again, all of the tools, the healthy tools that we can use to help our bodies, help our brains, help everything. I mean, GLP-1s, the studies that are being done right now, there is a NASH study being done right now, and it's being shown to help people reverse their non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You've got the studies that are being done on the brain health and the neurodegenerative benefits of the GLP-1s because, again, the reduced inflammation. We still have inflammation even if our diets are perfect. It's still there. And then the most fascinating one is addiction. They are using it on alcoholics. They've been using semaglutide, and they actually have been, keep starting them at the recommended dose. And these people who have been addicted to alcohol are reporting they either don't want to drink, or when they do, it's not enjoyable. So again, so many aspects of these meds aside from just losing weight.
That's interesting. See, that's the kind of thing they really need to talk about more than just, everybody's been down the weight loss journey with all the ketovore, carnivore stuff. So many people I've talked to have hit a stall. They don't know what to do. They've tried changing things up and everything else, and they're really frustrated.
Yeah, because it is. And then you give up. Like you feel better, but then you don't feel better, but you do, but it's this horrible back and forth. And it's so confusing because nobody can give you the right answer.
Right. Talking about the frozen burgers. I am a fan, said Dustin, the yellow or red packages from Walmart.
See, I'm with them.
Jerry said, I love a Mississippi burger. Yum. Lynn.
Yeah, the functional doctors freak out, Lynn. Or Karen. Yeah.
I'm sure. So, I have an APRN for a doctor, for my doctor. And I absolutely love her. I called her when I got hurt. She said, Ice and Elevate. She said, you're good. I said, I've been doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said, if it gets really bad, just come in and we'll do some x-rays and stuff, but I can move it. Like I
Yeah.
say, it hurts, but I can move it. So I know it ain't broken. But
Okay. As long as, yeah, that, because you poor thing.
if I
So
just
the
keep
biggest
not,
thing,
if I keep hitting it, it could break. I guess it's
right?
like I need, I need to keep it out of the way.
Yeah. The biggest thing
Oh,
I want people to understand, and this has just been my message, this probably the past 6 months is, like I said, both things can be true. I believe in the foundations. We have to have a solid foundation. That's a non-negotiable right there. But I believe in the tools, again, that will help us, and if they're utilized properly. Tro said he actually wants to have me on his podcast, hopefully, probably right after the holidays, which I think will be a great conversation between the two of us. He said he agrees it's important to get information out there about, like what you said, more people need to know. This information needs to get out instead of pigeonholing GLP-1s and peptides into this particular category, where they're just cheats and they're hacks and they're whatevers that people want to call them. Peptides and GLP-1s are not going to replace our lifestyle. That's obvious for the people who do not make the changes they need to make while they're taking these medications, and they're just using it so that they can't eat. But lifestyle alone is not enough for everybody. And I was one of those people. I was shocked at the amount of inflammation I still had in my body being keto for 4 years, you know? And so while the foundations are definitely forefront, and like I said, healing our bodies is what's the most important, utilizing these other things isn't necessarily going to be a bad thing. We need tools in place so that we can get those little wins, because sometimes the little wins matter the most. They did with me.
yep.
you know but the tools also, they have a place in our lives. The GLP-1s help with inflammation and reducing the food noise, and then these habits that you're creating, the healthy habits, they finally stick. I i have a client who, she has not stopped at the grocery store and picked up a box of donuts and eaten it in her car for 3 months. She's never gone that long because
Wow.
car donuts didn't count. And now she's like, wait, why do I want to stop? I have no reason to stop. I don't do that anymore. And she drives on. That was our call on Monday, was she realized it had been 3 months. Her habits
Nice.
are finally sticking. She's getting these types of wins. It's not even a scale victory, but she's not stopping and secretly binging donuts in her car, which was her go-to. That is
Yep.
massive. So that's my biggest proponent for GLP-1s. And again, the microdosing of them, not going all bonkers and getting as high as you can, as fast as you can.
Right. So
The
Liz
gut
says to
peptides, they're going to calm down inflammation so that movement becomes easier. Who would thought your gut would impact joints in your body? But they're all they all coincide.
oh,
The
sure.
recovery peptides are going to support our strength training and our other movement. The brain peptides are going to support our mood, resilience, consistency, getting rid of that brain fog, helping with anxiety, helping with other issues that the magic is actually in the integration of all of them, or both of them, whatever you want to say, not going to the extremes.
Right.
So people hear about peptides and they start to research them and they want to do everything at once. Oh, please don't do that. Because you need to know which peptides are actually doing what for your body. So we need to limit them.
So Lynn tells Karen, docs tried to put me on 5 meds years ago. They were sure I was going to die. Did all my research, took no meds. Years later, I'm fine. CAC score remains 0 at my age.
That's awesome.
I'm jealous. I am so jealous of everybody's CAC scores, let me tell you. Absolutely. And Karen says hers is 0 too. Y'all keep bragging. It's all right. Mine is so ridiculously high. I'm an anomaly. Dustin said, I want to get my CAC score, but I'm worried it won't be good. I guarantee you it won't be as bad as mine.
Yeah, but knowledge is power, Dustin.
Do it, Dustin. You need to know. $49 at Hendrix. There you go. I paid 98 for mine twice and freaked out both times. So, but yeah, it was good to know the first time. Mine is in the thousands and thousands. It's like crazy, crazy high.
Wow.
And it says straight up out of pocket. Yes, insurance does not cover it. Oh, eating food in the car on the way home. My goodness, I've been there. I think we all have.
Yep. Because it doesn't count in the car, right?
That was the last time I was there. Insurance won't cover it. So worth it. Yep. Everything for me is out of pocket. Yes.
And see, my doctor did Dr. Nally does carotid artery scans in his office. So he'll do the ultrasounds, which is really fun. And he'll just sit there and, while we're doing it. And we had ours done in 2023. No, 2024, January of 2024. And he's sitting here doing mine. And he goes, I could drive a truck through these, man. You must do a keto diet. And I'm like, go figure. I don't know.
Here's Dustin. I asked lots of doctors about CAC scores and how we look at them, what kind of scale, be it low from like 100 to 6,000 versus 6,000. No one can give me any kind of answer. Do your own research, dude.
Yeah.
I have searched, and everything I've read, anything over a couple hundred is considered very high.
Yeah.
Mine, Michelle, and when was it? 2023. It was either 22 or 23. I had the first one done. 5,552.
And that's how many years low carb?
I was about 2 or
3
3 years at that point. So I had seen a live stream with Dr. Barry and Dr. Ovadia, and I paid to ask the question. And Dr. Ovadia said, use it as your baseline, repeat it in a year. Keep doing what you're doing.
And
So I did that. And the following year, it was over 6,000. And I'm like, all right, so I'm in the 95th percentile, somebody to have a heart attack. I know this. I feel good. Heart disease runs in our family. It's a given. So,
yeah, certain things are hereditary.
but will I have another one done like Dr. Barry told me I should do? No, because it was such a stressor for me.
Yeah.
That getting off of blood pressure medicine several years ago when I did, after being on them for 50 years, I started on them when I was a teenager.
Wow.
Was exciting for me. Getting those scores sent my blood pressure through the roof, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet.
So no, nope. Because I don't think I could handle it if it goes up anymore.
I don't
And
blame
then
you.
Dr. Ovadia had said at one point, typically as we age, a CAC score can go up 20% per year. And mine only went up 10%. So I said, all right, I take that as a win. I'm done.
There you go.
I'm not having fun.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
500 is high, but people are looking at
right now, because of his CAC.
Dustin said, yeah, 500 is high. People are looking at 5,000. There needs to be a way to classify what each increase means.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. People can find out. I don't want to know. Do you think that the CIMT testing is better? What is the CIMT? I don't know. Better than the CAC. Ovadia and Bickman recommend the CIMT. Instead of the
Oh, that's what Dr. Nally does on me. It's the carotid artery scans, the ultrasounds of the carotid arteries. That's the only thing Dr. Nally does. And that's why he recommended we do that. He doesn't recommend CACs either.
Yeah.
So it may be for the same reason that they do, because you'll actually see the buildup of the plaque with the ultrasounds.
Yeah. I had Dr. Ovadia on here. So I forgot about him. I asked questions on your channel and his answers were very reassuring. He's a heart doc, so he should know. Yes. You're on the right path by your lifestyle. The damage was most likely from all those years on, like, I don't doubt it a bit, on the blood pressure meds. I had a doctor when I was young, and I would forget to take my medicine. And I'd go to my doctor, the blood pressure meds, and, and by the way, for people that don't know, high blood pressure is labeled a silent killer for a reason. You don't feel bad just because your blood pressure is elevated. So there were times I would forget to take my meds. I went into his office one time, and he was great. He was my mom's doctor back then, and he was just great. And I'm sitting in a chair along the wall. He come back and took my blood pressure again after the nurses had done it. He said, "You haven't taken your medicine, have you?" I forgot. He grabbed me by the top of my hair and put my head against the wall. He said, "Is that what it's going to take?"
Holy wow!
It was great. Definitely didn't hold anything against him, but he just cared that much,
Wow.
He was a great doctor. Yeah, CIMT will show both soft and hard plaque. Yeah, I don't think I want to have that done either. When they did the first CAC, the cardiologist that I was seeing then, he ordered an aortic calcium score also. And that was 1,856. That's never talked about. I don't even know. Like, oh, it's okay. I'm good.
You're good. You know what? We have a cardiologist from Brazil who will be on the low carb cruise with us next summer. And I will have a deep conversation with her about her feeling, especially in her area. Do they do CACs there in Brazil? Like, she was affiliated with Mayo, and I'm very curious how they handle things in her country, as opposed to what they do here in the States. So I'll make sure that I bring that up and definitely report back to you.
All right. Sounds like
And
a
maybe
plan.
we can even have her on your show too.
Yeah, just you know what? I had a Dr. Ann
Childers.
Yes, she was on. Yeah, because you helped you and Andy both talk to her, and that was so fantastic
She's a
with her.
fascinating woman.
And my husband joined us because he has the cervical dystonia and has had DBS. She hasn't had the surgery, but she was starting to have problems with her right hand.
Yeah.
She says, "I might have to look into this," because I told her, I said, "Without this, my husband wouldn't be walking right now." And it's incredible what they can do.
Yeah.
Scary, but it's incredible.
That's true.
But anyhow, I want to thank you for coming on again.
Oh,
If
I
anybody
appreciate
has
you
any
having me. I love
last
having you
minute
on here.
questions, you're great. I mean, we have a good time.
I
I tell
appreciate you.
everybody, because after the last time you were on and we went backstage, you had told me this was the most fun I've had on a live stream ever.
100%.
And anybody that contemplates, John, I'm trying to get him on here. Anybody that contemplates it, I said, listen, this is what I was told. And we keep it light and we have fun. And I said, now, John, you're right here and Michelle's right there. You can ask.
Oh yeah. This is this is the way to do it. And because it's just so laid back and so chill. And, and it's a really fun group in here. So I love coming. When she said, "Hey, I need somebody," I'm like, "I'll do it. I'll come back. I had so much fun with you guys."
I appreciate
Plus,
that so
I've
much
met
too.
some incredible people from this group that I've really gotten good connections with. So it was a lot of this group is fantastic.
Yeah, Sherry wants to know, her doctor wanted her to do a bone density test. Should she? I will be 70 next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Just do a DEXA. Do a DEXA, because you also being 70. So, and the reason I say this is I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to my mom, because my mom's 72 and she has lost a significant amount of muscle when she retired, because she was a nurse for 46-ish years. And so she was pushing around heavy beds and doing all that stuff. She never worked out. She never lifted weights, because, we did, jazzercise and Jane Fonda and all that other crap when I was younger. But she has lost a lot of her muscle mass as she has aged, and she lives basically on her own homestead. So she's doing a lot of activity, but not something to preserve muscle. And so I told her I've actually got her getting a DEXA scheduled in January down here in the Valley, so that we can see where she's at. And then I'll just continue to monitor her, just because she's in her 70s now. I want to make sure we're keeping her as healthy. And I mean, she's a very active woman. She's very lean. But I want to make sure she is in the most optimal health possible in this phase of her life, because we had the conversation yesterday. Like, my grandma lived to 93. She's got some longevity, but I'm like, we need to make sure that, you're still active and able to keep up with everything that you need to do living on this 40 acres, and it's just you. So,
Wow.
if you want to get the bone density test done and health insurance will do it, 100% do it. But I would do a DEXA as well, so that you can see where your muscle mass, your muscle, your fat, and your bone is at too.
That DEXA scan. Yeah. I've had one done at Hack Your Health a couple
Oh,
years ago. But bone density, I was told years ago I had osteoporosis.
mhm.
And then the next test I had showed osteopenia. So it had gotten better.
Yep. And the more active you are, lifting the weights, building that muscle, the better it's going to be.
Bowling and falling on my face and all that kind of thing.
It helps grow muscle bone.
I didn't break anything, so that's a bonus.
Precisely. See, you're
You
bouncy.
know, if I had these brittle bones, because I went hard, I
You would have
fell hard.
you would have busted your face for sure.
I probably would have had a broken nose and everything else. Lots of great information, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Karen saying thanks. And Sherry said, we don't judge at all, which is why I love you to the moon and back. Sherry, you are the best. I'm telling
No
you,
judgment.
everybody in here. And it's the same people, even more so, that join us on Wednesdays. And Brian is like, Brian will get to the point where, if you've never seen our Wednesday live stream, Michelle, my
I'm gonna
husband
have to
gets to
put it on while I'm at the gym.
my husband gets to giggling, and he calls himself my guinea pig. So somebody in the chat said the guinea giggles, and I lost my mind.
That's
It was so
perfect.
funny. And he did that last week, and right at the end, and we were on for about an hour and a half, like we have been now. I'm so sorry. Your mom's over there, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
they're just
taking.
waiting for me to go to dinner. They can wait.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, they know how we get to talking. It's okay.
Lynn told Sherry I would get the test. Yes, I've been tested for years. I have another one coming up.
Knowledge is
The
power.
more
That's
you
my
know,
whole
the
thing. The
better
more
it'll
we know,
be.
the better.
Okay, thanks. Yes, I think insurance covers it. Yes, and she is active. Ryan is a mess. Yes. They're getting to know him well, I'll tell you.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we have been so busy. We're trying to get ready for a craft sale or a craft fair that we're going to be in. So I've been crocheting like a crazy, like hair scrunchies, and I've made a couple scarves now. I just little angel ornaments, all kinds of
Oh,
stuff. But I have Christmas earrings, patriotic earrings, all different kinds of earrings that I've put together, and it's next Saturday. Got a lot to go.
oh,
Where do you
Sherry,
live,
I am
Michelle?
in Arizona.
She is too.
What part?
She lives where it hails, which is what the hail came from.
So she's West Valley or Prescott.
She happy on keto. Hello, Mary. How are you? And how's Steve? I met these people at the Florida meetup, Central Florida Ketos meetup. Brian and I drove down there November, and we went last May also. Blast. That's
The
fun.
surprise drive down to
Yeah.
Florida.
It's for us, I mean, we're in Kentucky, so it's like straight down I-75 for us. It was just a straight shot. So a long
You guys
straight
get
shot,
all
but it's
fun
good.
things on the East Coast, and I'm like, we don't get nothing over here.
She's in
Oh, you're in
Kingman.
Kingman. Okay. So I spent most of my life in Vegas. And I've been down here in the valley 11 years. Holy cow, 11 years. Yeah. Almost
Well,
12.
I am going to be in a bowling tournament in Vegas. Y'all got to come up
When?
in May.
Well, it depends when in May because I'll be on a ship.
You need boats. What the heck?
Big old boat. The low carb cruise is May 31st this year. That's why.
No, that's the 13th and 14th,
Oh,
our
okay.
tournament.
Well,
Yeah, y'all
maybe.
just need to cruise on up to Las Vegas.
It'll give me a reason to see the grandkids. So I'm fine with making trips up
That's
there.
easy.
But see, I'm usually up there the first weekend in May because my office is up there, and my boss does an annual party every May at his ranch. And so, if I just have to do back to back weekends, I guess I have to do back to back weekends.
Or just go there, stay for a couple weeks, spend more time with your grandkids. You said the valley, which is what made me ask. Maybe your sourdough friend will ship to me.
I mean, it might make it up to Kingman, or maybe when I'm driving through up to Vegas, I can drop off some sourdough to you.
There you go. All right. Sherry, did you get the link for Michelle's Facebook page when Evelyn shared it? I will also put it in the description of this so people can grab it.
Awesome.
John says, now we're going to go. I get the DEXA scans and pay $74 out of pocket. They're really good at a lot of data.
And that's an amazing price.
Yeah. I got mine for $49 at KetoCon.
Awesome.
Before it turned into Hack Your Health, and
Yeah.
then it went to Florida instead of Texas, and so I didn't go this year.
That's too far for me.
It was better. It was good in Texas. It was hot. It was a
Yeah.
heck of hot, like Wendy would say.
Yeah, because didn't they usually have it like in April or May in Texas? Yeah. Because I remember there was one
in
year
November.
they booked the same exact time that we had the cruise booked. And that was a problem.
Yep.
So,
this year, next
got
year,
off of our ship in hang on. It was Cape Canaveral. Yeah. So Maria got off of our ship and was immediately on a plane to Austin to do Hack Your Health.
Hack Your Health. Yep.
And Craig had already been there. So Craig couldn't go on that cruise with us because they were both supposed to appear there. So yeah, that caused some issues. And I think that's why they made major changes as far as time of year too.
Yeah, it was it was wild. They went, now this year it was in Tampa
Mhm.
in November.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was there the beginning of November for the Central Florida Ketos. Let me see. Evelyn, are you still in here? Let me see if I can find it. This chat's been busy.
Yeah, it has.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. I don't know if Evelyn's still in here. If not, Sherry, I'll get it in the description, I promise you, and I'll let you know that it's there. Or I'll just go in her thing and invite you. That's
There
what
you
I'll
go.
do.
That works.
It's Sherry Robinson is what her last name is. So,
Okay.
they said, I'm getting ready for the cruise, but have a lot to do. I'm so excited.
So much fun.
You doing the back-to-back cruises, Nancy?
You staying on?
Are you Groupon for an inexpensive one, easy to check? Groupon. All right. I'm going to let you go. So you can go to dinner with your mother and your husband and your son.
No, the son's at home. So
Okay. The 4 Rottweilers.
no, God, no, I need to leave the 4 Rottweilers.
They
But
would eat
thank
them
you
out of house and
so
home.
much for having me back on. This was a great time, and I hope that everybody was able to learn a little bit of something. And, just I want people to understand there is no shame. There is no shame in whatever avenue you take to improve your health, to improve your wellness, to help your longevity. And there is no shame and no judgment on my part. And I'm always a good sounding board for people. Feel free to ask me questions. Like Evelyn said, I do a live training every Monday night in my group. And I ask you guys what you want to learn about. I'm on the peptide series right now because I want to get information out. But I want people to know, I want people to learn, I want them to have resources, and I want them to have safe spaces. So that's what it's all about.
You see, I sit there quiet because I don't know the first thing about what you're talking about in this chat.
Hey, I had
I'm
you
just
focused on
listening.
this. You did good.
I just say hi. And I shared this meetup.
Precisely. See, you contributed.
All right. You go ahead. You have a good night. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. It's Friday night, folks, and Black Friday at that. Don't forget Keto Chow sale on Black Friday. 10% off $100 or more, 20% off of 200 or more, 30% off a $300 or more purchase. Listen up, I think there's a test after this. Maybe you'll be tested Wednesday. Anyway, y'all have a great night. This has been great. I think I remember when Michelle was on before. Have a great rest of your night, all. You all too. And I will talk to you soon. I'll be
Thanks,
back
Ariel.
Wednesday with Brian.